So we are in control flow and we are looking at the for statement, and we looked at this for loop over here, and we saw that it was quite simple to use. We could just do for word in words, literally in one line of code, and we could kind of like print out the word itself and like the length of the word in our particular example. So it's very, very convenient in Python, the for statement, doing this iterating over a loop procedure. Now we're just going to move on from there, and we're going to like we can iterate over any list or loop or collection type that we want. But if we want to actually modify the collection whilst iterating over that same collection, then it's more straightforward to do one of two options, right? And the first option here is to loop over a copy of the collection, and the second option is to create a new collection. And I take some of this from the documentation, but we're going to create a sample collection literally from the documentation. And here we've got a dictionary, and the dictionary is made up of key value pairs, and the key values are the users. So you've got the users over here, and then the values will be like their status. And we could separate this out onto separate lines just so that we could see how that looks. So here's one key value, here's the next key value pair, and so forth. And we see that some users are active and other users are inactive, and these are the user names. So I'll put them all back on the same line just for the purpose of our example. And we've got two possible strategy, and the first strategy is and in fact I'll copy the strategies over too. Our first strategy is to iterate over a copy. So we're going to loop over a copy of the collection as our first strategy. So let's just do for user, comma, status in users. We're going to create a copy of the users dictionary. So .copy, we were able to use this copy function that we've seen before, and then .items to get all of the items. And each one of these key value pairs is an item. So to get all of the items in this particular dictionary. And then we can do a if statement, which we've seen previously as well. So we can check if the status is logically equal to, and then we will check for whether it is active or inactive. So we'll check if it's inactive. So if the status is inactive, again, we need to use a colon to indent ourselves, because Python uses indentation for if statements and for statements. And then let's delete the user, delete users. So we're going to delete from this users dictionary. And who are we going to delete? We're going to delete the particular user. So we'll type in user over here. So we're going to delete from the users dictionary the user that's inactive, and in this particular case it'll be Eleanor. And we can actually print this out. So let's just print out users, and we will see that this is reduced now to two users, both of the users who are active, and the inactive one was removed from the original list over here. Now the alternative is to create a new collection. So that's our second strategy over here. We can create a new collection. So let's create a new collection, and our collection is of type dictionary. So we'll say active. We'll create a collection of active users. Active underscore users is equal to, and then this empty dictionary, which we're going to populate if we find users who are active, and we know that we will because there's a couple of active users over here. So let's just do the same thing as before, which is, well, I'll type it all out, for user, comma, status in, and this time we're just going to use users, oh, got it up there, .items. So we haven't created a copy, but that's not a problem because we're not going to operate on the original dictionary. This time we are going to operate, or we're going to add users to this empty active users dictionary. So if status is logically equal to active, Then we're going to update the active user. So active users, and then user is equal to status. And that will be it. It's as simple as that. And this way we are able to create this active users dictionary, and each user that is active will be added to the dictionary sequentially as the for loop jumps through each item in the dictionary. So let's just print out active users just to see. So print active users and run our code, and we get the same output. Now it's your choice as to whether you want to do one or the other. It depends on what you're doing in the code, but these are the two different strategies. So the first strategy is to iterate over a copy of the list and then modify the actual list in place, and the second strategy is to create a new collection and then iterate over the list and pass any items that you want into the new collection. So we've got two different options to do what we need to do. And that's basically the second part of for loops.